Cruising gently along the waterways of Oron, a riverine community in Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria, gives one that velvety and sublime touch with a sweet-smelling aroma of muddy water trickling out from the creeks. A hand-paddled canoe sails away effortlessly with its stone-faced occupants not given to any smile, having toiled all day in the large expanse of water with barely a handful of catch to show for a whole day's sojourn. This is undoubtedly a recurrent decimal in recent times in this place, where fishing trade has become like a family tradition, passed on to the succeeding generations by those who have long gone. The bleakness on their faces can be understood. Things have changed from good to bad, and then heading towards the worse. The fishes are disappearing, or at best migrating to the larger waters because their natural habitats are disappearing. The mangroves which used to house them when they needed shelter have been hewed down, hence they are exposed to all manner of dangers. This is the story of Oron, a littoral community where fishing is a major occupation of about 35% of the inhabitants. More than 100 years ago, the area which is a part of the Niger Delta in Nigeria was rich in mangrove. A cruise along the coastline in those days, when water transportation was the only means of transportation, showed large population of the plant with its naturalness, towering high above every other plant around the vicinity, with its domineering posture, yet with an accommodating spirit for both the aquatic animals, the fishes, and other creatures which needed shelter there. But the times have changed. These have been lost. What do we now see? A brigade of Nypa palm on single file along the coastline. Oh dear old mangrove, where art thou? We caught up with some fishermen, just back from the day's toil. Their story was rather pathetic and touching.
Mangroves used to be friendly to fishes. Apart from the fishes eating of the fruit from the tree, they often used to take shelter in the roots. That is no more, as our people have cut them all down, and these Nypa palms have taken over everywhere, chasing away the fishes further into the sea. There is so much hunger here now.
Not only have the people lost their traditional means of livelihood, but it appears they have also lost faith in those they refer to as white men, who they accuse of bringing the plant to enslave them once again. Else, how could one explain the rationale in bringing a plant that is of no good to them? They reasoned.
Honestly speaking, we were very happy when Professor Sokumba came and informed us that they want to experiment how they can resuscitate mangrove. So the Estuary community that I am the clan head was very happy. I mean, we were all happy. We said, okay, let him come. And the man actually came and experimented. Those Nypa, those mangrove trees are thriving now. We gave him a place in our swamp for him to experiment. He experimented, and those mangrove trees are growing. So the community liked the idea. In fact, the stance of those mangrove, if I'm not mistaken, was over, at the time it was planted, was over 3,000, if not more. So the project is on. We encourage Professor Sokombi to please come and extend it. We will add additional acres of swamp to him to continue the job.
I was essentially a fisherman. All the children who were born at that time were fishermen because we fish for our parents. And there were so much fish that sometimes it looked as if you put your hand inside water, you can bring out fish. The same thing with crayfish, prawns. The cause of that was because fish generally, they have what we call habitats. They are like human beings. They have homes, houses, where they stay to produce their eggs and children, where predators, big fishes, will not be able to go and absorb them. And they found it very easy in the roots of mangrove. Mangrove roots are like basket, and then they offer very good protection for the fishes to hibernate under them, produce their eggs, protect the eggs. And the mangroves perform so many duties. Up there, we have very exotic birds like the parrot of different colors, which used to inhabit there. And you also had the hawks of different varieties and so many other bird species. Today, they are no longer here. We used to enjoy them. They come to the human habitat, sing good songs for us, and you admire their colors and what have you. We used to sell parrots to Hausa people. They used to come here. The young men made money from selling, making a bird cage, which we use in catching these birds, canary and all that. And they sell. The people come from the northern part of Nigeria to buy. All that is not there again. Why? Because they came and introduced, I think they call Nypa, which has destroyed the entire marine coastline. Our people also, when they have a boat mishap and they are able to manage to swim to the shore, they will hold the roots of mangrove and will be safe. Now you can't hold Nypa. Even if you hold it, they will go out with you, and already the energy is finished.
For this reason, therefore, the people say they would welcome any effort that would return the area to glory days.
We are praying to God. We don't know how we can eradicate it. And the thing spreads like like wildfire. like wildfire. So any program that will bring back the mangrove is a welcome program. The mangrove itself, people use it for building houses. They use it as wood.
The older ones.
The older ones. Use it as wood. Use it also, there are some delicacies like what we call isom. Very sweet and interesting thing. You know, if they cook it for you and you eat it, you will not want to eat any other thing in your life. Yes, they grow inside the mangrove, you know, when the mangrove becomes old.
Way back in 1906, the Nypa palm, we are told, was introduced to check marine erosion in Oron. That was 6 years after it was first brought to Nigeria. The palm was brought into southeastern Nigeria from Singapore Botanical Gardens to control coastal erosion and mangrove loss occasioned by wave action and destruction of the coastline when commercial shipping became prevalent in the colonial era. Ever since, the plant has taken over the entire coastline, making a mess of the original intention. Investigation has shown that Nypa palm thrives best in salty water environments. This perhaps explains why the plant seems to thrive very much in this area. Unfortunately, where Nypa establishes a dense population, mangrove hardly grows. This is the situation we are attempting to reverse. The Bioresources Development and Conservation Program, partnering with the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, coming under the program Combating Living Resources Depletion and Coastal Area Degradation in the Guinea Current Large Marine Ecosystem, has taken a major initiative to check the trend. This it has executed through the UNIDO program, Restoration and Conjunctive Sustainable Management of Native Mangroves and Nypa palms in the Cross River Estuary of Nigeria. Dr. Emmanuel Ajao, Director Research, Nigerian Institute for Oceanography and Marine Research, Victoria Island, Lagos, and leader of the team, gives insight into the program.
Well, this is Nigeria's national demonstration project, which is expected to be replicated in the 16 other Gulf of Guinea large marine ecosystem countries participating in what we call the GCLME project. It's a JEF-funded project which is executed by UNIDO, that is the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, with headquarters in Vienna. The project itself has its headquarters in Accra. The project chosen for demonstration in Nigeria is this restoration of the mangroves, which has been displaced over the years by the exotic or foreign Nypa palm, which came into Nigeria when introduced from the Singapore Botanical Gardens many years ago. So the exercise is presently to restore degraded areas where mangroves have been degraded or depleted in the past, and to see the coexistence of mangrove and Nypa palm in this environment. Since presently the Nypa palm is so widespread that the only thing we can do is not to eliminate it, but to accommodate it. And the accommodation will be done through the utilization of the Nypa for the various things that it can be used for, and it can stay side by side with the mangroves in our native wetlands and forests in Nigeria.
Armed with a multidisciplinary team, the agency evolved ways of checking further destruction of mangroves and sensitized inhabitants of fishing communities on potential uses of Nypa palm. Dr. Ajao speaks further.
We had some measures that were employed to make sure that gradually we can take out the Nypa palm. One is introduce the utilization of the plant itself. It can be used for various products, food and non-food products. The fronds can be used for thatch, for brooms, decorative hats, and the rest of them. You can make beads and buttons from the seeds. And if people now try to use the Nypa palm and its product, then we are going to have a reduction of the plant, no doubt about it.
The BDCP undertook the establishment of mangrove nursery at the Oron beach, preparatory to replanting the mangroves at the Nypa jungle island in the Cross River Estuary. Aware of the ugly experience where oil prospecting firms in the Niger Delta are very often challenged to employ indigents of the catchment areas, the BCDP involved a large number of the inhabitants, made up of men and women, in the reforestation exercise. The coordinator of the project, Professor Elijah Sokomba, explains the role played by BDCP in the execution of the project.
Bioresources Development and Conservation Program is a non-governmental organization dedicated to the well-being of tropical ecosystems and their human inhabitants. In specific terms, we promote activities that are directed towards poverty alleviation, health improvement, conservation of the environment, and sustainable utilization of biological resources. The project had several